you so much for taking time out of your, what I know is incredibly busy schedule, to just chat a little bit to us about who you are, what you do, why you do it, and I guess how everything that you do applies to ladies of a certain age, shall we call us, and when we're travelling in particular. So maybe if you could, I mean, I know you as a facialist, a perfumier, an aromatherapist, all of the above. How do you describe yourself?
Possibly as essentially an aromatherapist.
Right.
That's how I started as, and I guess that always stays with you. But some people know me more for the treatments that I provide.
Right.
Others do know me because of the book that I wrote about
skin. I forgot best-selling author.
It all stems around the same thing, which is skincare and self-care.
Right, right. Fantastic. And I know that lots of the beauty editors, many of who have been your clients almost since you started.
They've been
absolutely
very supportive.
Really supportive. And I know you are obviously organic with what you do, and very sort of principled with that.
Absolutely,
so maybe you could take a moment just to explain a little bit about your mission with skincare, because I know it's very sort of precise.
Yes. Well, I guess there are two things that I'm extremely concerned with. One is our health and how we are evolving into towards a way of contaminating our health more and more and more with the cosmetics that we use.
Right.
Let's not even talk about the food chain, because
that's something, and yes,
it's a different thing altogether. But also about the environment and what impact the cosmetic industry has on the environment.
Well, and I'm a diver, and we hear about all of what SPF is doing to coral reefs, for example.
Instant destroy. Yes. So, and I think it's combining those two passions of mine that actually made the brand strong, and then never diverting from it, which is quite a difficult thing to do.
Well, and how long have you been going now? More than 10 years, I know.
So the idea started around 20 years ago, and we launched in 2005. When I say we, myself, with George was my business partner.
And we met, coincidentally, probably
around that time.
Yeah. When I was doing my nutrition and we were working together. So we've known
each
other a long time. Very fun days. Very fun days. So, travelling, I mean, obviously when we travel, I always think of it as to hot places. In my head, I'm always travelling to the sun, but that's not always the case. So, maybe you could talk a little bit about your routine when you're at home, and then a little bit about your routine when you're travelling.
Yes.
And then maybe what we should, especially with a more mature skin, be thinking about, should we be changing things as we travel, as we go into hot or cold, or humidity? Humidity is a good one.
Yes. Well, the routine I have at home, I try to mimic that wherever I am, but possibly simplify it a bit, because when you are travelling, you don't always have the time or the patience to spend a lot of time on a massage. And so I always take my brushes with me, so I always face brush wherever I am. And I'm talking about dry brushing on the face, and I always cleanse, and I always do a face massage. So brushing, face massage, and a good cleanse for me are the essentials.
And I know that your massage, everyone's like, oh my god, a massage, I don't have time, especially in the morning. But it's actually like, and people can look at this on your website, alexandrasoveral.co.uk, where you show a demonstration of how you do that. Because it is actually incredibly effective, but not hugely time consuming.
And you don't even have to follow any massage. The idea is that you bring blood flow to the surface of the skin, to every cell. And when the blood flow comes in, it brings oxygen and all the nutrients that your skin needs. And when that blood goes away, it takes away all the accumulated toxins. So by manipulating the muscles and bringing heat onto the skin, that's all you need. So you could just cause friction and massage your oil well into the skin, and you're already achieving so much more than what you would do just by applying products onto the skin.
And do you change it at all when you're travelling? Or so do you have things sort of for sun versus snow, or?
Yes. So if I'm in places where I'm exposed to the elements, protection becomes really important.
Right.
So if I'm going to go somewhere there is snow, for example, I might have to wear an SPF, because we all know that the snow reflects the light.
Right.
And so if I'm going to be somewhere really outdoorsy, climbing a mountain, who knows?
Right.
So I want to use a good moisturiser,
Right.
because all the wind
Right.
will
As a barrier.
so you don't get your wrinkle set.
Right.
So you really have to adapt it.
Right. I mean,
it's just common sense though.
Right.
Nothing.
And with regards to SPF, because it's a very sort of tricky subject.
Yes.
For the face, I suppose, in particular. What are your views on that?
Well, with SPF, if you are going to be somewhere where it is absolutely unavoidable that you're going to be exposed to the sun, then SPF is your best friend.
Right. Any factor in particular, or?
It depends where you are,
right.
and what skin type you have.
Right.
So if you are very pale and you redden quite easily,
right.
you might want to go for a total block.
Right.
If you are quite dark skinned
right.
and you don't get sun damage easily, you might go for 30.
And what do you think then of organic versions of sunblock? Because, you know,
right.
in some cases the jury's out, but in others.
But sunblock is one of the most misunderstood products in skincare. Right. So we have two ways of making sunblock. One is with synthetic ingredients, one is with natural ingredients. And only because natural is natural doesn't mean it's actually good
right.
or better.
Right.
So the synthetic sunblock causes a reaction in the skin that kills off the bad radiation, but
right.
it creates excess heat within the skin, and those then toxins can go into your bloodstream and cause all kinds of issues
right.
with your health if you use sunblock all the time.
Right.
It creates a build-up of toxins
right.
in the body. The natural one is only made of two things: it's either zinc oxide
right.
or titanium dioxide.
Right.
So those are two ground-up minerals. Now the problem with those is that if you go into and swim with it in the sea, the zinc will kill the coral reef.
Right.
So if you go anywhere near a coral reef, do not use anything with zinc.
No. Yeah.
Yes. The titanium dioxide, if you go into the sea and swim with it, it mixes with the sodium and makes a peroxide.
Right.
That will then kill the small fish that get eaten by the big fish.
That's really hard then. So you're using what's best for your skin, but it's not that great for the environment.
Exactly. So neither of them are good. So to
stay out the sun.
So if you go swimming into the sea, and if you go snorkeling, wear a wetsuit
right.
or wear protective clothing.
Right.
So you don't kill the sea at the expense of protecting yourself.
Yeah.
Because those, even they say they're water resistant, nothing is that water resistant.
Right.
And the natural ones are not water resistant. So
and they're the ones that make you go white as well. So
yes.
you see on actors' noses where they put like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that those offer better resistance to UV and UVA light, UVB and UVA light, but they come off in the water.
In the water, okay. So if you're not swimming, that's not an issue.
If you're swimming in a swimming pool, then I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
But I will just sit in the shade,
wear a
hat,
yeah.
and then I'll go swimming first thing in the morning because the lower radiation of the sun, the infrareds, are really healthy for you. So for you to get some of that in the morning, go for a swim with nothing on.
Ooh, check you out. Depends where you are, I suppose, right? I just think I've got this vision of you strutting down the street somewhere, and the beach somewhere. Hilarious. Okay.
Well, but you can choose what to wear, but there's sunblock. and then go swimming again just before sunset.
Yeah. Which of your range would be the ones that you would never leave home without?
Well, obviously, I would have to say is Angel Balm, even though at risk of feeling guilty because I love all my other products. But Angel Balm, it really is treasurous because it has got so many beautiful oils in it: avocado oil, castor oil, and cocoa butter and geranium essential oil, and they're so rich in antioxidants and vitamins and things that truly nourish the skin. They're made of the same building blocks as your skin is, so your skin recognizes it as skin food. So, and the angel balm is a multitask kind of product. You can use it as a cleanser, moisturizer, to regenerate your skin, regenerate your skin overnight. You can do the old-fashioned thing when you put it on and then you get a bowl of water with a towel over your head, steam it.
I do that actually with
Do
a hot cloth.
With a hot cloth.
Or travelling on a long haul, I always put a layer of angel balm.
To protect it from...
Smells fabulous, but then
geraniums.
It just stops you dehydrating.
So you're not... So there's definitely... It is the one product that... I always travel with it in my handbag instead of my suitcase, in case my suitcase goes missing. And then I have my one product that has everything in one.
And I know that a lot of your products use essential oils and are oil based. Obviously, your kind of signature range has midnight oil, night oils, day oils, and you're a keen advocate of that. But some people get a bit worried about, especially in the heat. Oh, I feel a bit greasy, you know. I love it, but I'd love to hear your take on that.
The world of oils has been very abused. So there are many products on the market that are called oils and they're not oils. To me, the only true oils are vegetable oils or plant-derived oils. So I would say that 80% of all oils, so-called oils in the market, are made from paraffin wax, are made from petroleum products, from fractionate coconut oil that's been through so many processes, it hardly remembers an oil, but then the label will write from coconut, and then one thinks, oh, it's natural, it's great, you know. And those are the kind of oils that sit onto your skin and they don't allow the skin to breathe. So when you use a very fine oil that I call almost a dry oil, such as deodorized grapeseed oil, for example, it's very thin. So when you put it onto your skin and massage onto your skin absorbs it, and it allows your skin to breathe. So if you wear moisturizer that has got fats and waxes and things, then your skin finds it harder to breathe. In fact, oil is much better suited for humid climates and for hot weather than moisturizer is, because you're not sweating the moisturizer out.
And sometimes if you've got sort of a heavy moisturiser on, often with an SPF built in, and then it runs into your eyes when you sweat.
It's vile. So, in fact, in the summer, I hardly use moisturiser. I'm only using oil at the moment. I only have oil on.
You're such a great example of how your products and also your massaging and your treatment. What things should we be doing maybe slightly differently as we get a little bit older?
Well, it's been 15 years now that I've had ladies in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, but I would say the 50s, turning 50, and those first few years are possibly the hardest. And my honest advice would be to anyone: stop panicking. Because that is the age where most of my clients are worried that they're losing their youth and the wrinkles are setting and the skin becomes more flaccid and all their friends are having stuff done and then they run into a friend who looks amazing and then suddenly they feel insecure that they don't look as amazing. Stop panicking. It's just what you have to do is just keep on looking after your health and really looking at your skin as an organ, as instead of something that just sits there to make you look pretty or not pretty. You really have to invest more time into your skin and really cleanse it nicely, massage it, give it the nutrients that it needs to not only to survive but to thrive.
How do you feel? I mean, I know you're a few years off yet, but how do you feel about the prospect of turning 50?
Well, I'll be turning 50 in 2 years, well, less than 2 years, and I feel great. I feel that it's just a number, and I feel that my skin is possibly better now than it was in my 30s.
How does your routine change your skincare routine when you travel? Is there anything that you do differently? Or
Well, the only place where it changes dramatically, funnily enough, is when I go to Portugal to the farm.
Right.
I become almost feral.
Right.
And
naked on the beach. You've already done that.
Yes. Now feral is a farm.
Yes.
I guess when I'm there, I am so in tune with nature that I don't even look in the mirror.
Right.
And I wake up in the morning, and after my shower, I just put my oils on.
With your massage, though.
My
You
massage.
still do that.
Well, I do that without even looking in the mirror. I do that,
right,
and then I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I come home after I've been in the field and doing things. Sometimes I look in the mirror and my hair's dishevelled, but I like that. I like the fact that there is absolutely no concern
Right.
with my appearance, and I feel so good about it. I'm a
It's
child
nice,
again.
isn't it? Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Just finally, I guess, what's your sort of aspiration for Soveral, and where do you see it going? How do you? I know that you've kind of expanded now. You're in spas in the US. You're in spas in the UK. Obviously, you have your treatments in your own atelier in Maid Vale. Your beautiful products are available on Net-a-Porter and from your website, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Quick.
Yes.
Hint on where anyone can find them. But I mean, and I know that you're really into designing bespoke perfumes as well.
Yes. So the bespoke perfume has been ongoing for many years. I have people travelling from all over the world to come and have bespoke perfume consultations.
Right.
And it always surprises me how people hear about it, because I don't actually advertise it.
Well, you are written about a lot. I mean,
I guess I have
you're in quite
girl.
often, certainly in the UK, I guess. We read about you a lot in Telegraph Times, Stella magazines, Tackler Vogue, all these things. You've had lots of praise.
I'm very fortunate.
So.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I would love, obviously, to come up with a master perfume.
Right.
That would be a work of art.
Right.
I can only live a dream.
Right.
That is completely natural, and I like to make perfumes that are health enhancing.
Right.
So, say if you suffer from anxiety, I'll put something in there that will counteract your anxiety. So, only spray it if you want that.
Right.
And you can only do that if you are using natural ingredients, of course. But my big life ambition has always been and always will be to bridge the gap between pharmaceuticals and cosmetics.
Right.
And I would love to be able to develop products that use as a cosmetic but support your immune system.
Right.
And enhance your health.
Right.
And this is where I'm starting research very soon.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I
It's a
love
pleasure.
talking to you anyway. So,
Likewise.
let's just do one last little plug for websites. What have you got? Social media?
So all the social media and the Soveral London, and then I sell at Net-a-Porter globally, net-a-porter.com, and from my own website.
Right.
And I'm at the Four Seasons downtown.
In Mondrian in London.
So Four Seasons downtown New York.
Right.
The Mondrian Agua Spa in London, and then Harvey Nichols in London.
Right. And of course, people can book consultations if you have space in your very busy diary for personal skin consultations or perfume consultations. Brilliant. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you.
And one day I will travel with you again, and we'll have the laughs that we always used to have along the way. That's an entirely different video. We'll save that for another day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.